was a drought in the land of Israel during the time of Elijah. In 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 2, it says, "Then the word of Yahweh came to him, saying, Get away from here and turn eastward and hide by the brook Cherith, which flows into the Jordan. And it will be that you shall drink from the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there." So he went and did according to the word of Yahweh, for he went and stayed by the brook of Cherith, which flows into the Jordan. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. So here we know that God feeds the birds, but now he used the birds to feed his servant Elijah. He had 2 meals in the morning, evening, meat and bread. He was drinking out of the fresh water that came from that river. And so he was able to survive those years of the drought because God provided for him. It helps us to appreciate that when God gives you something, you take it. You be appreciative. And this we can apply to God's word in that he has provided for us. It is bread for us every day. And our thankfulness is shown by our partaking of it on a daily basis. Yes, there are things hard to understand. We wait on God for understanding. But when God gives us something, he just gives it to us on a silver platter. The meaning, well, we appreciate it. We take it, just like Elijah appreciated what God gave him here. We appreciate it. We take that freebie and we accept it, and we don't add or subtract to it. The Watchtower has proved some teachings of the many churches false, and that's great. But we find that what they did, they replaced those teachings with some of their own man-made concoctions. Therefore, when you deal with the Watchtower witnesses, you have the ability, if you stick to the scriptures, if you accept what God gives you and don't add or subtract to it, to prove them wrong. And this, again, is about the 1914 teaching. Now, I know a lot of people want to go right to chronology. They want to go to the historical dating that humans attach to different events in history, and they say, well, by this, we prove the Watchtower wrong about the 1914 teaching. This teaching is said to be based on the Bible, so therefore you got to go back to the battleground of the Bible to prove it wrong. They go to Daniel 4. Daniel 4, you find the 7 times. They make a calculation out of the 7 times, and after they make that calculation, they start at 607, and then end up in 1914. And from there, they also make a statement that 3.5 years later, like in 1919, something like that, they were declared the faithful and discreet slave. That is their governing body. That they were declared the channel. That they are declared the ones that God is using today. So a lot is riding on this. Because once you undercut the 1914 teaching, well, what does that mean about their declaration? By the identification of the immense tree of the dream of Daniel 4. That immense tree, identifying that tree, is the key to then taking those 7 times and using it starting at 607 to 1914. You go to Daniel 4, you find where God identifies the tree. Daniel 4:22, who does he say the tree is? You, O king. Who's you, O king? Nebuchadnezzar. God never says the tree is anyone other than Nebuchadnezzar. Therefore, the Watchtower had no permission to use those 7 times for anyone other than Nebuchadnezzar. So you have to stick to that when you're dealing with the Watchtower on this subject and bring them to realize and accept what God gave us, the simple identification of the tree.